You're listening to Midlife Side Quest, the Over the Hill Gaming Podcast. Here's your host, John Wall.
Welcome to Midlife Side Quest episode 33, and thank you very much for tuning in on today's episode. We're going to be talking about predictions for the upcoming PlayStation Showcase. If you haven't yet subscribed to the show, please take a second to do so. It really helps quite a bit, and I would love to hear your feedback, which you can do by leaving a review wherever you're listening to today's episode. And you can also find the show on Twitter and Facebook by searching for Midlife SQ. So today's episode is probably going to feel a little bit different from a regular episode. For one, I've been having a very busy week, and it's been tough to find time to prepare for recording and editing a podcast. Like I talked about last week, I was in the middle of getting a bathroom remodel done, which I was hoping would be completed by last Friday in time for the weekend. Long story short, it was not, but it is finished now. But, you know, that's taken up a lot of time and a lot of energy. And also in the midst of that, on Saturday, I had somebody out to the house because my air conditioning was acting up a little bit. And I soon discovered that both my air conditioner and my furnace needed replacing. They were beyond repair. Now both of these things are very old. We've been in our house almost 20 years. They were here when we got here, so it's not a big surprise. But in the middle of also having this expensive renovation done, having to shell out quite a bit of money for that was a surprise. So that actually happened yesterday. Today, while I'm recording this on Wednesday, they came out and I got a brand new furnace and a brand new air conditioner. So it's been a really busy past week. But I had made time, sneak peek, or should I say behind the scenes of how I do this show normally. I don't just do it off the cuff like I'm doing right now. I normally write out show notes, pretty detailed, not necessarily a script word for word, but, I go over what I'm going to talk about so that the show flows well. And I had done that for today. And then today, PlayStation went and announced that they're having their PlayStation Showcase next Wednesday, and I threw all of that out the window because what kind of video game podcast would I be if I didn't do a prediction episode? So scrap everything I had planned. I don't have a script for this. I'm just going to talk. So let's do some predictions. So, like I said, Sony announced that they are going to be having their PlayStation Showcase event next Wednesday, May 24th, at 1 p.m. Pacific, I believe. And this show is essentially their E3 event. This is their big showcase event showing off all their upcoming games, big announcements. And they have said that this is going to be over an hour, more than an hour is what they said, which could be 61 minutes or 2 hours, who knows? And that it is going to include both PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2 games. And they said expect a glimpse at several new creations from PlayStation Studios. So PlayStation has not shown very much at all of what they've got coming first party other than Insomniac games. They've revealed a couple games, but other than them, very, very little is known about PlayStation's upcoming list of games, which makes this a very exciting event because it should be full of big surprises and new reveals. So let's talk a little bit about what I expect from the show. Right off the bat, I'm going to say what I don't expect to be revealed is any new hardware. Now, there's rumors about a couple of different things. Number one, a PlayStation 5 Pro, which is reportedly in development. I don't think they show that yet. I don't feel like the general public is quite clamoring for that yet. The mass availability of the PlayStation 5 is still pretty recent, within the last, 6 to 9 months, I would say, that you could really get one. So to announce and reveal the next model seems a little bit premature. There have also been rumors about a new PlayStation portable device, specifically one that does remote play and streaming. Not really a device that would be playing your games directly from the hardware, but more of a streaming device to stream from your PS5. And I don't think we're going to see that either, because I don't know that idea, that rumor, makes a whole lot of sense. I mean, there's already options out there. There's already multiple devices that you can buy right now that do that thing. And sure, it makes sense that maybe Sony would want to get a PlayStation branded version of that, to cash in on that a little bit. But I don't know. It just doesn't seem like something that would garner much excitement. So I don't know that they would reveal that during this showcase. It seems like something that they would maybe just kind of slide into a Tuesday press release. So I don't think we're going to see any new hardware. There are a few game releases that I think are ones that we can count on seeing. And obviously the first one is Spider-Man 2. That is the one game that we know is coming this year. It's the one game that we have seen, at least like a little teaser for. And that's it. That's really all they've shown for a game that's supposed to be out this fall, which I'm not 100% convinced of. Now has got to be the time to show that. If it is coming out this year, you need to start showing this game, and this is when they would do it. So, my guess is maybe that they open with a big gameplay chunk, a few minutes of Spider-Man 2, which I'm excited to see what that looks like. The other game that I think is a sure bet is that Last of Us multiplayer game that they've talked about being in development before. That I didn't play. What was it? I think part 1 had a multiplayer portion of the game that I didn't play. I might have tried it once, but didn't interest me. And I don't think this will really interest me either. I don't play many multiplayer games, and The Last of Us isn't a franchise that screams, deathmatch to me. But I think there is some demand for this thing, and it's obvious that this is their next big project. And I don't know that it's a this year title. It could be, but I do think we will finally get a look at that game and see what it's all about. So what about the rest of their teams? What else might they be working on? I think it's too early to hear anything from Guerrilla Games or Santa Monica Studio. We've already got the Horizon expansion, which just came out, and Santa Monica historically hasn't done add-ons for their games. I don't think we're going to hear anything from them. So, but they still got a bunch of other studios who are, presumably churning out games, and I think One of those that we may hear from is Team Asobi. And I would love to see a new Astrobot game, a more full, full length action platformer with our buddy Astrobot. I would be very excited to see that, in a big Mario style grand adventure. I hope it's not exclusive to PSVR 2. Maybe they can design the game around both PlayStation 5 and the VR 2. PlayStation VR 2 seems to be struggling a bit. It doesn't seem to be catching fire like they hoped. And I'm certainly not going to shell out $500 for it now. So I hope I could play that game on my PlayStation 5 if we see it. Bend Studio is out there working on a new project. Not going to be another Days Gone. That was not a very successful game for them, so I think they're going to move on to something different. I have long thought that PlayStation needed to revisit more of their older franchises. If you look back to the PS1 generation, they had so many great, cool, unique IP, and I feel like lately in recent years they've kind of left a lot of those behind to focus on brand new IP, which is fine. They've had good success, but I would still like to see them go back to the well and do a reboot of Siphon Filter. I think there's space for, obviously Ubisoft hasn't been in a big rush to get out a new Splinter Cell, and I just think there's an appetite for that kind of a, Mission Impossible style spy thriller. So that could be really cool. I would be interested to see that. One of the best games I think PlayStation has put out in many, many years was Ghost of Tsushima, and I feel like it's about right to get a look at that sequel. It's probably a couple years off, most likely still, but I think we could get an announcement, and I think we could get probably like a cinematic type of trailer. But even that would be exciting to me. That was a great game with a great setting, beautiful world, fun gameplay. I'm anxious to see how they can expand on that original game and how they can make it even better. Lastly, I think since Sony has seemed real keen in recent years of turning into this multimedia corporation, with movies and television to complement their games, they obviously have this new Twisted Metal TV series coming out, which I don't know if it's going to quite live up to the standards of the Last of Us show. The trailer was interesting. But I think it would make a hell of a lot of sense to release a new Twisted Metal game to go alongside it. It's been a while, it feels like, since we've had a new Twisted Metal game. And if you're ever going to do one, this seems like the right time to do one. So I think we're going to finally get a brand new Twisted Metal game. That's kind of what I think. It's kind of tough to come up with some predictions because I feel like PlayStation just feels like a big unknown right now. And I want to get excited for PlayStation. My PS5 has been pretty cool sitting on the shelf, not getting a heck of a lot of action the last year or so. And I'm excited to see if they can get me pumped for what they've got coming next. So I'm excited to watch the show. I think it should be pretty exciting. I'm sure they'll have a lot of big, third-party exclusives, which seems to be something they are going heavy for, paying the big bucks to get these exclusives. So I'm excited for the show. I'm sure I'll talk about it again afterwards, but next Wednesday, tune in. Should be cool. Every week, I end the episode by spreading some positive vibes in an attempt to make the gaming space a little bit less hostile and bring some more positivity. And this week's vibes are going to go out to the one and only Chris Burdo. I've been doing gaming podcasts for a long time now. Man, almost a decade. And I have met lots of great people over those years. Lots of people that I consider friends, most of whom, I've only got to know through Twitter or, whatnot, social media. And a few of them I've had a chance to meet in real life, and they've really become, friends that I value. And Chris Burdo is one of those. I think he is a great guy, a real class act, and he's been around. He has stuck by my side for years and years and years, and that's something special. That's something really cool. So if you don't follow Burdo already, you can find him on Twitter. He goes by cburdo85. Give him a follow. Great guy. Sucks at games, but he's a good guy. Thank you so much for listening to Midlife Side Quest. You can catch new episodes every Thursday morning wherever you listen to podcasts. And remember, if you enjoyed the show, please do me a favor and subscribe and leave a review. And you can follow the show on Twitter and Facebook, where we go by Midlife SQ. So until next time, be well and keep playing.